Hello! Time for witchy season. Hello friends! I'm sorry if I sound a bit nasal. I have been sick for the last week, so I'll do my best to speak without coughing. So this week I want to do a Halloween theme. I have wanted to make Halloween costumes for a few years and I never got the time to. So I thought now is the time. You know, sometimes you just have to make space for stuff you want to do and I really want to do it now. So time for witch season. So this week I really want to make some Halloween costumes and not usual Halloween costumes. I want to make historical costumes but with Halloween theme. Ooh. So I actually bought the fabrics last year because I tried to do this video last year, but you know, when you have your own company, sometimes you don't find the time. So, it's the fabric we're gonna use and some black cotton. It's a costume, it doesn't need to be super accurate. So I got twill from my shop, just cotton twill. And this is silk taffeta from my shop, the historical fabric store. And yeah, maybe I should do a link to this down below. You can find it. And as you can see, it's a nice orange taffeta with black and orange thread. So it gives a nice shine. So I have thought about the design a lot and I wanted it to be orange, of course, as a pumpkin. And I really like this from Patterns of Fashion. So I printed these out and just draw on them to see what kind of combinations I liked. So here I tried with some black here. I kind of like both, so it's been hard to decide because I could also do the black on here, but this is detail. So this is going on top quite late, so I think I'm gonna start with the bodice and then we'll see how we do. I'm kind of leaning against the black train, maybe pull it up like a polonaise. Yeah, it's gonna be a creative process. But I like the orange and the black and the lacing, like a pumpkin feeling. Yeah. Okay, I put my stays on my mannequin. This mannequin is made after me in duct tape. Very professional, but it's a really good way actually to make a mannequin that fits you, because most people are not the same as the ready-made dress forms. Like me, I'm very short and I'm very short, so everything is very compressed. So I have a very short upper body. So much easier for me to have a duct tape mannequin, and then I get the shoulders right and all the, yeah, everything, you know. We're gonna put this dress on because I fluctuate a lot in weight, like 2 sizes, and so it's very hard for me to use my clothing sometimes. Like this one is a bit too small right now, so I need to make a new basic pattern for 18th century. I need to widen the back and the front a bit. So we're gonna put her on. As you can see, we need to add a bit here, and it's a bit hard with the sleeves on these kinds of mannequins because they don't flex like your sleeves, so it was very hard to put on. So I can't get the right angle here, and that makes this crease more than it does on me. See here, because that lays kind of flat. But I did notice that even on me when I have it on, I think it's a bit too long here on the side. This is the problem when you try to fit it on yourself. It's so hard to make the back right, and you kind of try to look over your shoulder in the mirror. That's why it's good to have a mannequin. I think I'm gonna make this part a bit wider, but I'm gonna have a look at the original patterns to see which one looks best to go wider, if I will wider everyone or maybe just the middle. Because you want to keep the proportions so it matches the original, so we don't go too crazy with the seams. Like in the bottom, I don't think I want to widen that anything, because that would make it look too different. Then it's better to widen the sides. But I think I could widen the top. So you go like this. And remove a bit here. So let's make a new mock-up that it's a bit bigger and try that on. here I had tried out the pieces. I have added 1.5 centimeter here, which means this goes out. So the shoulder is further out. And I think this looks better. Looks a bit tight. So we have let the shoulders go out. And this will affect the next piece. We might need a more curved line here, but I will wait to do any changes until the mock-up. So we'll make a toile and try it on and see what changes we need to do here. Oh, and right, I also changed this angle. Since this is further out, if we have this like this, it will be too far out here. If we hold this in place where we want it, something like that, this angle changes. So we need to remove a triangle here. Now we will paint the pieces on the other side too. It's important to be very specific when you're sewing. A few millimeters extra can be a lot if you have many pieces, so it's really important. And now it's time to pin them together. Actually, I'm gonna wait for the shoulder straps. It's easier to fit them on the mannequin. So I'll just sew this together with big stitches, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have sewn together the toile, and we're gonna try it out. I think it's already looking better. I might want to take a bit here, like 5 millimeters here. I might need to change this even more. You see here? Okay, I have put it on. It's a bit too small right now. So it's a big gap in the back. So it's not fitting properly and it hurts my hips a bit because it's too small. I'm making it a bit looser up in the back. So I'd rather have extra space up here, it's more comfortable. You can squeeze quite a lot in the waist. You see? Since it's nothing, it's just in between the ribs and the hip bones. And it's still quite comfortable. But as soon as you are too tight over the breast, it's very uncomfortable. So my tip is leave it quite loose in the top, as long as it's not gapping. You need the support. So I don't want to do it too tight here in case I want to make a pair of stays with extra room. The hard thing with the hard thing with the 18th century clothing is you have to tie your laces the exact amount of tightness, because otherwise clothing are not gonna fit. So the best way is have closing stays in the back, but if you're like me, with your weight going up and down a lot, it's a bit hard to have closing stays. I don't know the solution to that. I can't make all of my clothing with lacing, you know. I might just have to have small clothes and big clothes, but I don't have time. Yeah, I definitely need to cut away a bit under the sleeves. Put some pins here so I can see it's folding here. Okay, so I do that first. I have pinned here, here, and here, and cut away under the sleeves. Already much better. A little tighter. So there's something up with the sleeves. Needs to fix. Yeah, I think since I added so much in the front, it went too far into the sleeve. tighten a bit more. Now it looks better. Can you check it back for me? I feel like these are very far out, like a bit uncomfortable. Yeah, I see what happens. Can you see it? I'm gonna try to show you. Okay, so here, this is the problem. It's too much. This one is too far out. Like you want to go this way. So I need to put a pin here. That removed 1 centimeter. And let's see if it makes a difference. Because I added a lot in the back. Better to add too much and then remove. Because now you can do this. It looks a bit better. Yeah. It needs to lay comfortable here. This wrinkles a bit, so I want to do like this. And I think I want to remove maybe 1 centimeter here, like down to the line. They're supposed to be way up, but it's not uncomfortably high. The shoulder straps are a bit too short, because I think that's what's pulling them up. Let's fix that. I'm thinking about if I want to make this more narrow, maybe. I think the original is pointed, so maybe I should change that. Let's compare with the original. Yeah, this one is like 2 centimeters. But this is gonna be like my base toile. So I'm just gonna draw on top and not cut it out. This would have looked like this, I think. It's very straight on the top. To do too tight in case I change stays. See how much too small it is. I need my phone to check the back. This is how I do it. I just turn the camera and then I take a photo in the mirror to see my back. I have one of those to hold it. Okay, second toile. I think it looks kind of okay. Since I'm holding one arm up, it wrinkles of course, but yeah, I'm happy. So I'm gonna start with the bodice. So we need this piece, and I think I need to iron it first. All right. I know you told me not to say iron. I was so mind blown because in school they teach us to say iron like it spells. I never really heard that people say iron, so that was new for me. And I asked everyone around me if they say iron, and everyone was, yeah, of course we say iron. What do you mean? So it was not only me. So I'm gonna go and iron this fabric. I'm gonna need some practice in saying that because I've been saying wrong for 30 years. Iron. No. So now I have sewn together this part, and I'm going to sew them together here so that I can turn them like this and then add this seam through both of them. Here you can see I have pinned the back piece with the front piece, and now the lining of the front piece, see this, is going on this side. So when we sew all the layers together, we can then turn it and have it like this without having to hand stitch. So now we're going to add the shoulder straps. So I try to keep the pattern paper on top so I know what side goes where. So this is the back and this is to the sleeve. And we're gonna attach it to the front piece first. And since I'm sewing by machine right now, I'm gonna do this one first and then the lining second. Because what I'm going to do next is when I have sewed them together, I'm gonna turn this inside out to sew this part by machine. And then when I decide where I want the front edge to be, I can also sew that, because since this is going to be open, we can turn it the right way, and then just leave this open where the skirt is going to attach. Here is the stomach that we cut out with lining. We're going to sew the outer fabric together separately, and I think I want to sew 2 linings, so I'm gonna cut it out interlining so we can stitch some boning channels for this. On linen I like using very soft pens. Often I use building pens, like these types. And I actually got a new pen like this that you can sharpen, so you get a really pointy edge, not this wide ones. Because these are very soft, so you can easily draw on both wood and fabric. Sharp line. Now the pieces are done, and I'm gonna sew them together in the middle. I'm using 4mm plastic whalebone. We have it in the shop for $9.50. That's per meter. I usually measure it without the seam allowance. Cut it where I want to. And then I slightly trim the edges. Some people even use some sanding paper, but I do not have the patience for that. You can also use rattan. We also have that in the shop. We have round and flat rattan. Now all the boning is inside, and I contemplated if I would hand stitch the edges, but I think I'm gonna again sew it on machine. So now I have sewn the upper edge together and pressed it, and then I will fold in the edges and sew a straight seam on the machine. And here is the bodice right now. The neckline is sewn and the straps. So now it's time to test out the front. And the stomach. So I'm going to place this, pinning it to the stays. Now this goes on top, and we will see how this turned out. I'm a bit nervous for the shoulder straps. They feel a bit loose. Try to pull it back. I should have put some tacking thread in this, but since I am in a hurry, I'm trying to do this as fast as possible. I'm just gonna pin this temporarily straight in. Yeah, these are definitely too loose. See if I can pull it back a bit. Yeah, that might do it. I might need to put the skirt on to see how it fits properly, because the skirt is gonna weigh down and pull also the strap. If not, I need to tighten the straps just a tiny bit. So I'm gonna try to fold this along the line, just because I want to see how this will turn out. Alright, I think this looks good. Then we will have the lacing. Let's see the back. It feels like I could remove a centimeter, but I'm a bit scared to do it. But maybe I should, because I don't want to lose my movement. See how it looks when I tuck it in case I need to make it more narrow here in the bottom. So the stomacher needs to be a bit shorter and more narrow. So now I can see it on this side. So I'm gonna do some measuring and see where I want it. Now I will cut off the excess fabric in the front. Since I've tried it out, and I decided I want a little bit extra, so I can put boning first and then have the black or the lacing ribbon on top. I want these to far in the middle as possible. So I'm making the stomacher about half a centimeter shorter. Now I have sewn all of the front up to here, and I'm gonna do my best to turn it. I have also pressed the seams as best as I can. I'm gonna use this knitting stick to turn it. Put my thumb up to here and carefully, since it's silk and I really don't want it to rip. On the upper edge. Okay. So now I need to figure out if I want black ribbon on the sides or orange and just lacing. Yeah. I have two types of ribbon. I have this herringbone tape from cotton, and I have this bias tape. This one is more black, but I'm leaning against this one since it's more accurate. Because bias tape is a more modern thing. Question is if I want them both like this or just lacing. I think both look good, but without gives the lacing more power, and this gives more contrast. But I think I like it better like the original with just the lacing. So then I will make some ribbons from this fabric, and underneath I will put boning as well, so you have something rigid here. I had these scraps I can use for the ribbons. Let's see how wide it should be. I think that would be enough. About 1.5. I think the best way is to put this inside and sew a little channel by hand. So I took some silk thread that I can use for this. So these are ready-made straight plastic whalebone from my shop. I just cut it a few millimeters to match the edge. And since it's open here in the side, I'm gonna put these in. And I want the seam allowance to be on the outer side, so they won't stress the outer flap. Here it would be perfect to use my sewing clips, but I don't have them here right at the moment, so maybe I can just put some pin. Told you so, you know I hate to say it. You can kiss 100 boys in bars, sip another shot just to stop the feeling. I made 2 exercise buttonholes because it looks like it's buttonholes and not eyelets on the pictures. It's a bit hard to see because it's not very closed up pictures, but I think I'm mostly happy with this one. I tried regular buttonhole stitches, and then on the last row I just did whip stitches. I think that's the most discreet because I don't want them to show that much. They will be right along the edge here. So I have marked out where they're going to be, and I'm using a buttonhole cutter. One buttonhole ready, and 3 million to go. Can I just glue them instead? Something else. I hate doing buttonholes. It takes forever because it's never one buttonhole. You always have to do like 30. Now I have sewn these, all the buttonholes, and now it's time to sew these onto the bodice. And after that, it's sleep time. Sleep time. Sleep time. So I redid the sleeves. I felt that they were a bit big and I wanted to be able to adjust them since I changed in weight a lot. So I ripped them apart and I'm going to sew them together like this and just fell the seam. So right now I'm hemming the lower edge of the sleeve. So first I'm pinning the outer fabric and then the inner fabric. And then I will sew that by hand and then sew the sleeve on the machine. I have now put on my old skirt to see the length, and I'm gonna show you the back. So the back has cotton fabric to save on the expensive silk fabric and just a panel in the bottom. So I'm gonna do the same thing with orange one, but I think I'm gonna make it 1 centimeter shorter. So it just touches the floor and I wanna keep it a bit shorter. So the skirt is 106 in the sides and 101 in the front. I put these tape rulers on the table, this side and that side. Now I have pressed the skirt and hemmed the lower edge, and I have left openings in the side. Now I'm gonna try to copy the folding on the old skirt. Now we're going to fold the front of the skirt. I have started here with marking out the middle, marking out 8 centimeters here. This will be here on the front of the stomach. So then we're gonna fold this side, and I have put a pin here 2 centimeters in because you can't fold all the way to the side of the skirt. So I will now mark out the middle. I'm just putting the tape here and folding it. You don't have to count all the time, especially when you're doing the middle. The waistband is going to be a bit down here somewhere, and the edges is going to be tucked in. So I will mark out the folding lines a bit lower as well. You can use one of these. I have them both in metal and plastic in the shop. It's great for pleating and for buttonholes and lacing because it's so easy to space them out so much faster. We just match this one and this one, and then we can go ahead. This doesn't have to be too perfect, you know, since you're folding in the extra anyway. The important part is that the folds are even on the outside. So if it's different amounts on the inside, it doesn't matter. They did not really care on historical clothing as well, so you don't have to care. This is 3 centimeters cotton tape, by the way. I will link all the products below. So what we will do is that we will put the cotton tape on the outside of the skirt like this and fold it to place with pins on top of it. And then sew to place and turned like this. Now I put the sleeves on with basting stitches underneath the sleeve, and I have primarily pinned the shoulder in 4 folds, just on top of the mannequin. But now I'm gonna try it on. So I have pinned in the seam allowance of the shoulder strap. I will put it on, and you baste stitch the sleeve underneath so you won't have any pins. Basting is when you're sewing big stitches with a cotton thread called basting thread. Now I'm cutting out the collar. I'm adding 2 centimeters on the top for a drawstring. So now the issue is that I need to hem the collar, and I don't have time to do that by hand, which would be that's one way to do it. So I'm gonna try out the bias tape on a scrap piece and see what I can do. With just sewing it on top, fold it over the edge. I think it's a bit too narrow, it's not really gonna show. Then the question is, since we also have the zigzag pattern, it's gonna be really tricky. I haven't even thought about maybe painting it. Because the original is probably silk ribbon. That behaves way different. It's very thin, and the modern polyester ribbons won't act that way. And this is just a cotton bias tape, which is way more bulkier. Should I glue it? I have to experiment with it. So the ribbon did not work at all. It's way too bulky. So I tried painting, and I think it turned out quite good. Because you only see it when you're really close. And for photographs and such, you're not gonna see it. So the collar, hard to pronounce. And I'm painting with fabric paint. Now I'm trying out the overskirt with black or just orange. I don't know. I like both in different ways. What do you think? Black or orange? So I changed my mind. I'm not going to use the black overskirt. yeah, so it's going to have to be a round gown because I only had one panel for the overskirt, not two like I need. So I'm gonna use that one panel to change the back into orange. So I have to remake that now. Tomorrow I'm going to a different town, so I only have tonight. I'm so stressed. Here I have laid out the back pleats. I took it off from the mannequin and I tried to pin it together here just to lay flat because I wanted to higher the bodice a bit. So now I will put it back on top and pin it in place, and then I'm gonna sew it.